Hello, I was gonna talk about the April balance patch and also about the changes to Daredevil. We can first talk about ANET's new philosophy of balancing, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's pretty good what they're doing, going back, reworking skills or changing traits to be something completely new, like redesigning in general, especially underused skills or stuff that just doesn't work, that you revamp them into something else. Um, there's a like it's just not gonna help just increasing numbers of skills. They're not used for a reason. It's just a design or something like that. So I think it's good what they're doing. I think they should continue doing it. Maybe look at weapon sets, maybe revamping them. It also gives people something new to play instead of playing the same old things that has existed since the beginning of the game. So I think they should continue doing these kind of changes in the future as well. And now let's talk about specifically the Daredevil changes. The meta build has been SD for quite some time now, especially since Path of Fire launched, mainly due to the meta. And DP has kind of been, especially DP Daredevil, has kind of been behind SD Core due to nerfs, but also just there's so much blocks, etc., mainly being firebrands, just in general, like lower damage and tankier classes, soul beasts, etc., warriors, and that made SD being able to take other fights that DP can't really take. And after the changes to Daredevil, I feel like Daredevil isn't even remotely close to SD anymore. Um, and that means we lose a lot of build diversity. We basically have only one meta build now that we can play. DP wasn't even really played in ATs or like tournament play either, due to SD just being better, especially in like a coordinated group and the comps. So we didn't really see DP there at all. In ranked, however, you could probably play a mix of both and be successful, even though DP still were a little bit behind. But yeah, as I said, with the changes to the new swipe mechanic, we just see DP Daredevil not existing anymore, which is sad, because now we're forced into playing only one build. A lot of people say like, oh yeah, but it's not that bad, and the DP or like Daredevil should have had a trade-off since the beginning, etc. I only feel like shouldn't you only have a trade-off if the elite spec is actually overperforming over core? Like the idea is to create build diversity, right? Like, and you want core to, like, you don't want to achieve pay to win or whatever you want to call it, like people say. And technically, I mean, core has been better than DP Daredevil in the meta. It just you just had to shift the meta towards the tankier meta, and SD was SD is better. Would we go into a squishier meta, DP would probably have been better, and then I could actually accept the trade-off. But right now, you just further, as I said, increase the gap between DP and SD. Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, new swipe is unblockable and stuff, but Thief could already achieve unblockable steals or swipe, whatever you want to call it. If we equip Bassi Venom, my next spike will go through any channel blocks exactly the same as swipe. So I could already achieve what they did here. People say like, oh yeah, but you got an unblockable steal now as a trade. Surely we don't have Bassi every single time, but at the same time, you don't really steal every single time you have Seal of Cooldown. And you mainly want to use your steal in a +1. Like DP Daredevil is, you burst, you go out, you burst, you go out. Or in scenarios when you +1 a target, you want to kill the target in one burst and then go to the next node to outnumber. It's very rarely that you outnumber. You don't want to outnumber too long because then you lose the other nodes. So it's very unrealistic that you would outnumber for 20 seconds or longer. That would be considered a bad +1. So so then technically rotating between nodes, we would have Bassi in every single spike, which means we have unblockable steal already. So the trade-off to me is absolutely like I just don't understand at all. Um, Also, like they say in the patch that they want to make Daredevil a brawler. To me, I don't really know what the brawler means. Does it mean that you're supposed to be up close in the face like a warrior? But we have no sort of sustain. Like we have dodges, sure, but there are no, like, as soon as we take any sort of damage, we still have to disengage. We cannot resustain ourselves quick enough to stay long in fights. We cannot duel because we don't have any sort of survivability versus a +1. We might have escape, but we cannot sustain the node at all versus a tanky 1v1er, like let's say a warrior that would play full like defense warrior, soul beasts, scrappers. We would have no chance to kill those, and we would not be able to out-sustain them either. So if they're trying to achieve Daredevil to be a 1v1er, they need to give us some sort of either active defenses or traits that supports a 1v1 role, which it doesn't right now. So all they really did with this patch was kill off every single rotation build from Daredevil, but also didn't make it good enough to be a 1v1er. So honestly, all you will see now from Daredevil builds would be some staff builds that still existed back before this change, and the steel change is not going to change those builds. So yeah, I think the balance patch for Daredevil was really, I don't understand it at all. Makes no sense to me. To me, it doesn't really matter what I play. I'll play Thief. Since I have a build, at least I'm happy about that. But yeah, there's other things that they can look at as well in the future, and that would be like traps or skills that are just not being used, that hasn't been updated since the beginning. I mean, we have really underused skills like these traps. Like Shadow Trap doesn't even work half of the time. Ambush, I mean, it's completely useless. Caltrope's absolutely useless. These are things you could maybe perhaps start changing into making Thief into a 1v1er if that's what their goal is, to support Daredevil to be a 1v1er. Perhaps create a new utility for Daredevil to be a 1v1er. But yeah, we need some sort of resustain in order, like when we get +1, we need to be able to heal back up. Like look at Scrappers, look at Soul Beast, like they have active defenses, we don't really have any active defenses. We might have evades, but it's not going to change if you eat damage. One evade is not going to make up for the tankiness that other classes has, for example. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah.